You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. Time to talk free movies with Chris Woolsey of Vizio TV. Vizio, home of the Vizio WatchFree Plus app.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And on Tuesday nights, customarily, we would be joined by Chris Woolsey. But there were some changes going on in his life professionally, and so we didn't have the pleasure of having him for the past few months or so. But now he is with Vizio TV, and he's going to tell us more about Vizio WatchFree. Good evening, Chris. How you doing tonight?
I am well now that I am in your company, my good friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm cautiously optimistic at what's going on around us in LA with the fires and the progression as far as trying to contain them. So I'm cautiously optimistic tonight.
As am I. The heroes out there are doing an incredible job in keeping, as many structures saved and people saved as possible. And I am just unbelievably filled with gratitude for the work that so many people have done on behalf of this community. And I look forward to seeing this completely knocked down in the coming days.
During times like these, when there is uncertainty, when there's unfortunately even tragedy, oftentimes we may look to some sort of emotional distraction or some sort of comfort, emotional comfort surrounding times like these, moments like these. And movies, I find, and you're no stranger to this, movies usually are part of that equation. So let's get into some movies for this month, January, and maybe leading into next month, February, so we can find some solace, maybe some fun, maybe take our minds off things.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we talked about last time, I work for Vizio, and we have this amazing free entertainment streaming service called WatchFree Plus. And anyone who has a Vizio television can enjoy WatchFree Plus, tens of thousands of free movies and TV shows, but you don't have to own a Vizio TV in order to take part in all of this entertainment goodness. If you download the free Vizio app to your cell phone, you can open it up, create a free account, and click on the WatchFree Plus tab, and you also can enjoy endless entertainment for free at the touch of a button and at the tips of your fingers.
Okay, with all that in mind, where would you like to start tonight?
Well, let's talk about some tales of intrigue. We talk a lot about horror movies when I come into the studio, but I feel like tales of intrigue are sort of a subset of that. They can keep you off your pins, but they're sort of a different creature, so to speak, than a traditional horror film.
What's the first title you want to go with?
So let's go with the 2013 Beautiful Creatures. This is a feature that was based on a YA novel, because at this point, what isn't based on a YA novel?
Right.
And the best way I can describe this is if you can imagine that the Harry Potter series got drunk one night with the Twilight series and they had a baby. That's pretty much Beautiful Creatures. It's really fun. It's full of teen angst and witchcraft, and it has a ton of Hollywood star power with the likes of Alice Englert from Dangerous Liaisons, the series, Viola Davis, who is one of my all-time favorite actresses, Emma Thompson, who is also obviously a legend in the business, Sense and Sensibility, and a million other things. Aiden Eidenreich, who played Han Solo in Solo, and Jeremy Irons from The Lion King. It's really fun. It's very gothic. If you like sort of gothic tales of intrigue, this is definitely one to check out. But if you like the Twilight vibe, then this definitely has that going on for it.
I always wonder whether those movies from the YA generation, if they'll be able to continue to evolve and speak to the generation in the same way. Because when I was that age, they were great. And then as I get older, I realize the movies aren't for me, but I wonder whether those movies will continue to have a wide appeal. What do you think about just the evolution of the YA genre?
I mean, I totally agree with you. And there are some YA films from when I was in that genre that really I felt like this was as good as it got, and yet sometimes when I go back and watch those again, I'm like, that didn't quite hold up. I think the movies of John Hughes have done a pretty good job. There's a couple that probably just for political correctness might not necessarily be quite as applicable to today's generation, but I was a big fan of his, and I think good stories are good stories no matter what generation they're aimed at. So I think if people make good films that tell good stories, I think that they're probably going to have a much better shot at staying the test of time.
Tell me about Secret Window.
So this is super creepy. This is one of my favorite genres, and that is psychological thrillers. I love this. It's based on a novella from one of my all-time favorite writers, and that is Stephen King. I think this was one of 684 stories that he wrote that year. He's just insanely prolific, but it's got a great cast. Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean, John Turturro from Barton Fink. Johnny Depp plays a successful writer who's going through a painful divorce, and he's working on his next book in a secluded cabin when he answers a knock at the door and finds John Turturro standing on the porch, accusing him of stealing his idea. And I'm not going to spoil it because, as you know, Mo, I'm not that guy, but things spin out of control fairly quickly, and I just find John Turturro eminently watchable. My son and I and my wife are watching Severance right now, and he is creepy when he is not doing anything. I love John Turturro. I could watch him read the phone book. I think he's fantastic.
I love his acting range because he'll do something from dramatic to comedic to psychological thriller, and he seems very comfortable in whatever genre you may put him in. I've known of him since Do the Right Thing in 1989. I've been a longtime fan. Before we go to break, tell me about The November Man.
Yes. I think one of the most underrated action stars there is. This is starring Pierce Brosnan. And if I love political thrillers, I love action films, and I love Pierce Brosnan. This movie has all three. He's really good. So he plays an ex-CIA assassin who's brought back into the organization in order to save a young woman, and unfortunately he has to go head to head with his previous pupil, played by Luke Bracey from Little Fires Everywhere. It's really good if you like sort of espionage and Cold War thrills with some action thrown in. Basically, if you burn through all the Bourne Identity movies, but you still need more, this is going to do a great one to fit the bill.
My guest right now is Chris Woolsey of Vizio TV. We're talking about all the things which are available on the WatchFree Plus app and also on your Vizio TV. We'll have more with Chris Woolsey in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I'm right in the middle of a conversation with Chris Woolsey of Vizio TV. We're talking about all of the wonderful content which is available on the WatchFree Plus app. And Chris, I know just as a fan of movies that obviously during the Halloween season, you'll get a lot of horror movies, but also in the January and February months, Is that my imagination, or is there something to that?
No, it's not your imagination at all. And just because it's such a popular genre, we pretty much keep the horror movies and TV series cranking all year long. And we have some phenomenal examples in January. One of my favorites is kind of become a franchise in a weird way, but the series Hannibal, which of course is about America's favorite psychiatrist turned serial killer, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. And he is played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is from Rogue One. He played Galen Erso, but he's in a million things and is a man who my wife is. What's that?
It's Casino Royale is his best role.
Yes.
Opposite.
My wife reminded me of that immediately as I was talking to her about this series. He is a man that my wife is simultaneously terrified by.
Oh, yes.
And slightly obsessed with.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good in Casino Royale with his weird eye, and yeah, he's fantastic. But this is also starring a ton of my favorite character actors. Lawrence Fishburne, Gillian Anderson, who is a woman that I am kind of obsessed with and terrified of at the same time. She's kind of amazing. Eddie Izzard from Mystery Men, and maybe the weirdest casting in recent times, but Scott Thompson from The Kids in the Hall plays a dramatic role in this series. 3 seasons, very dark, incredibly good writing, fantastic performances. If you love serial killers, wait, let me back that up.
That sounded wrong.
Yeah, it does. If you love shows about serial killers, then Hannibal is definitely the series for you.
We have a couple more minutes before we have to get out of here. Do you have anything else for us?
I do. I loved this movie when it came out because I didn't know anything about it. But the one thing I do know is I am terrified of the ocean. And I love the ocean, but what lives in it scares the tar out of me. And this movie, Open Water, I don't know if you've seen this or not, Mo.
I have. Okay.
It scared the bejeebas out of me. Starring Blanchard Ryan from Orange is the New Black and Daniel Travis from Pretty Little Liars. They're both fine. They do a great job, but the star of this movie is
the ocean.
It's the ocean.
Yes.
Like it's based on I don't know if you know this, it's actually based on a true story. A couple goes scuba diving in some exotic locale. They come up out of the water to get back on the scuba boat, only to discover that it's gone. And they are in the middle of the ocean. And this was based on a real incident in 1998 at the Great Barrier Reef, where a couple was left in the middle of the ocean. And you know, in the movie, the irony is that the couple went on this vacation in order to try to smooth out their rocky relationship. But I've got to believe that the whole stranded at sea issue probably wasn't a ton of help in that capacity. It's terrifying. It's you just have to watch it. I'm not going to spoil anything because what unfolds is so frightening. And it's I think it's an amazing example of really what can be done with filmmaking when you have really, really imaginative people that get together and go, what would happen if? And I love this film.
It is an uncomplicated movie. In other words, it's not relying on this elaborate storytelling and special effects. It makes it very clear what is going on and the dire situation that these individuals are in. And I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything. You have to watch it beginning to end. And then when you go back and read how it was based on a true story, it makes it even more impactful. Let me put it that way.
Absolutely. And you should watch this before you book your next vacation to Omaha, Nebraska.
Definitely. I will say this. This is reason number 6,275 why I generally keep my behind out of the water.
Right.
This is the one.
Yep, absolutely. I would be completely incapable of overcoming any situation in the deep ocean. Just, oh my gosh.
Chris Woolsey, it's always great to talk to you. It's wonderful now that you are with Vizio TV and you've been able to tell us about the WatchFree Plus app. And I know sometime in the future you'll probably have some goodies to share with us. I don't want to give anything away, but it's going to be great. I know that.
Oh, it will. Don't you worry. Goodies will be a-coming soon.
So, Chris, we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. I look forward to it, Mo. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I picked this next story just to make Mark Ronner angry.
I already am.
Just to make him lose his proverbial mind. KFI AM 640. You may not know the name Paul Schrader, but if you're a film buff, you know the name Paul Schrader is the writer of the movie Taxi Driver. He was bumping around on an AI platform, and he asked the platform ChatGPT to generate plots for movies by famous filmmakers, including himself. And if you don't know, we talked about this a lot, about AI's role in the creative process, especially with movies. We talked about this going back to the strike, the Writers' Strike, Writers Guild, the Producers Guild, the Directors Guild, obviously SAG-AFTRA, and the role that AI would have going forward. That was a key issue which was being debated and bargained in those agreements of the past year or two. Well, Paul Schrader decided to see what ChatGPT could do relative to famous directors. Schrader wrote, quote, I just asked ChatGPT for an idea for a Paul Schrader film. Then Paul Thomas Anderson. Then Quentin Tarantino. Then Harmony Korine. Then Ingmar Bergman. Then Rossellini, Lang, Scorsese, so on and so forth. And it goes on that every idea ChatGPT came up with in just a few seconds was good and original and fleshed out. Why should writers sit around for months searching for a good idea when AI can provide one in seconds? Close quote. I won't tell you about what the response was online. I'm more curious to hear the gnashing of the teeth of Mark Ronner and how he hates this.
Should I just scream into the mic?
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing I can say that would be more eloquent than just, no. I really love Paul Schrader. I think he's terrific. Rolling Thunder is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I think he's been in a real renaissance lately with First Reformed, The Card Counter, The Master Gardener. These are smaller, contemplative stories that get under your skin. And what's weird about this story, I saw this story earlier in the week, and so thanks for bringing it up to beat me about the face and neck with it.
Oh, sure. Least I could do.
I think he's selling himself short because he is a unique screenwriter and a unique director. Nobody can tell stories like him. He specializes in these grown-up, morally complex stories about people who are haunted and tortured by their pasts. I mean, maybe you could have an AI make like a blow-up doll version of one of them that's like a pastiche.
Mark, but you are missing it. You are completely missing it.
What are you trying to say?
I would say, as someone who dabbled in the industry as a screenwriter, I would employ ChatGPT to give me some great ideas that I could sell to studios and option the content. They're not going to know that I didn't write it specifically. I'd have a ChatGPT spit it out. I would go copyright it, and then I would pitch the treatment to different studios and just get it purchased. I would in a heartbeat. I said it, I mean it, and I don't take it back. Neener.
Of course you don't. Do you have any honor at all? Would you cheat on the SATs?
Mark,
what else would you do?
No. Mark is missing an even greater point. Of all the litany of greatness that he just laid out with this renowned writer and director.
Oh, boy.
He himself has said, what is the problem? I would use ChatGPT. I actually asked it for ideas. And unlike Mark's assertion that it would only turn out hogwash and trash, not fit for a baby to wipe its diaper with,
it's the content.
It actually turned out content.
It is the
worth
diapers
its
content.
time.
Wait a minute, time out. How is it Stefan's going to laugh at everybody's jokes and no one gets a rim shot? Nobody gets one.
Right now,
He's off
we
the
should
chain.
just be hearing pow, 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 pow.
Let me catch my breath.
To
Oh,
quote,
we can't do two things at once.
To quote Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now, Stefan's methods have become unsound. I don't trust anything he does anymore.
I
Listen,
thought napalm in the morning was going to get in there, but go ahead.
But
that too. Go ahead, Stefan.
No, Chihuahua just caught me off guard because I'm working behind the scenes, kids.
We're all doing multiple things.
doing other things, and then
You think I'm not multitasking, Foosh? Come on.
No, you're
Rise to the moment.
No, you're not.
All right. I cannot tell you how high I hold Paul Schrader in my esteem. And if you read that book, Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, the story about him early in his career, just pushing himself to the brink of disaster so he'll be forced to be productive. That's good stuff. I think he's kind of nuts too. And you're not going to get a nuts AI. I think he's selling himself short. I think that
Wait. You're
whoa.
telling him
yeah.
what he should feel about himself? But you're telling him
Yes,
that
I
he's
am.
selling himself
But that
short?
goes back to what I was saying. These are ideas that a more accomplished writer or director can take because it's just in the idea form. It's not a fully fleshed out script. These are ideas that a talented director or a talented writer could build upon.
I think that Paul Schrader is 78 years old and having a fit of nihilism. And who but the writer of Taxi Driver and Rolling Thunder could you imagine more suitable for a fit of nihilism in the face of just nasty, humanity-destroying, soul-crushing tech culture?
Mark, it sounds like you are hard-pressed to accept the fact that one of your heroes has literally stabbed you in the back. You should be turning around saying, "Et tu, Brutai? Et tu?" That's what you should be saying
Check
to
his
Mr.
bank
Schrader
account.
because I'm telling you.
No,
he
Swall
is
and I agree on this
I'm
one.
just saying,
You know.
he himself said, this isn't me saying it. This isn't Mo saying it. This is someone who, and I saw the story and I said, oh, hell yes, because Mark is Mr. Taxi Driver himself. The writer of Taxi Driver would never. It seems he did. It seems he did on Tuesday and will again on Wednesday.
I firmly
All right.
believe that this is already being employed in the industry and is being used in the way that I would use if I had more time to shop projects and try to get stuff purchased and optioned. This is an easy way to generate new content, new ideas that Hollywood can then lock down and either produce or actually file it away so no one else can get the idea.
I want
Ideas
both
are
of you to
valuable.
take a breath and entertain for just a moment the prospect that Schrader could be wrong. Even your heroes are wrong now and then, especially as they get on in years. I think he's just depressed at the
Playing
direction he
age
sees
card.
things going.
Oh my goodness.
And
how dismissive. How dare you with your ageism?
if you read at all about how laborious screenplays are to come up with, read the big doorstop of a book about the making of Chinatown and what.
Excuse me, sir. I happen to let you know that I am a fellowship recipient of the Guy Hanks, Marvin Miller, Bill Cosby Screenwriting Fellowship, class of 2003. Don't you dare try to lecture me about the laborious nature of screenwriting. I have my copy of Final Draft on my computer at home right now.
I like it when
Shame
you.
on you.
I like it when you talk like Cosby right there. Can you say pudding pops?
Pudding
Pudding
Bob.
pops.
Camille.
Yeah, I think he's.
I
Just,
have five children.
you
Because I
can.
don't want 6.
What were we even talking about? The hell with both of you. Both of you can rot in the inferno for
Look,
all eternity.
I'm sorry, Mark. It's got to be cold out there on that ledge by yourself. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
I'm
like
the bad guy here. I'm
come
the bad
inside
guy.
to
No,
the AI warmth.
He's on that hill. He's dying.
Yeah.
You think this is inevitable? I think it's. I keep on using.
I don't think so. Your
I
hero,
know.
Paul Schrader, thinks so.
I think that you can tell the difference between something that's written by a human and something that isn't. And I want everything that's AI labeled. I think we have the right to know what's real and what's fake, whether it's a screenplay or a dirty picture that pops up on your Instagram. I want to know if I'm looking at the real deal or not.
That's a misleading statement because I'm telling you, this is only generating, from what we know in the story, generating ideas. If Tuwala walks by, and I'm going to use him as a Chat GPT example, if he were to walk by and say, hey, I got this great idea about this radio host who's stuck in an elevator and he has to somehow talk his way out of it. Stupid idea, but it's just an idea. Then an actual person comes back and tries, all right, then sets up the structure, the story structure, act 1, act 2, act 3, puts in the characters, puts in all the dialogue, makes the different scenes and everything. From that idea then comes a fully fleshed out script, which is something completely different than just an idea. And you can't say, well, that was created by AI. No, we're just talking about the idea, not the actual script.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Ideas come from experience, pain, heartbreak, what William Faulkner called what Faulkner called the human heart in conflict with itself.
Heart of darkness.
Hey, man, how big is that violin over there? I mean, you are strumming the hell out of it.
It's in my pants. Why don't you come take a look at it?
Oh, you found a rim shot then.
You guys are cheering on the end of human culture and the rise of garbage.
I am Steve Buscemi riding the nuke in Armageddon. Embrace the horror.
You should be Slim Pickens riding the nuke in Dr. Strangelove. Then you'll get more respect. Then.
That's what she said.
Had it with you guys.
Kelly Clarkson. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And coming out this summer, I don't know what day, but someday this summer, is Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Supposedly the last Mission Impossible movie in the Tom Cruise series. What I plan to do personally is when this movie's about to come out, I'm going to start at the beginning and take one day to watch all the Mission Impossible movies in advance. I should say rewatch. I have seen them all, but it's kind of hard to remember all the subtleties because from what I understand, this last movie is supposed to tie up a lot of threads which have been woven over the course of the previous 6 or however many movies. But they're testing this 7th movie. Audience members are getting to see, if you've ever been to a testing, you're not seeing necessarily the final version of the movie, but they may be testing certain certain scenes or certain sequences to get a sense or a gauge of audience reaction. I've been to some of them, and you may see a version of the movie looks really nothing like the very final version. And according to the director of Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, the director says during one of these screenings, an audience member almost had a heart attack during an action sequence. And the director, Christopher McQuarrie. And he's using this as a selling point. I don't think he would. I don't think he should. But McQuarrie said an audience member nearly had a heart attack during an early screening. Quote, we had a small screening and someone said, I was suffocating throughout the entire sequence. I almost had a heart attack. And I thought, this is Chris McQuarrie talking, I guess we did something right. No, you did not. You did not do something right. That's almost like a someone who makes roller coasters saying, someone came back and said, I almost fell out of my seat, almost flew out of my seat. No, someone almost died. I'm going to take this audience member at his or her word. If you say I almost had a heart attack, which means I almost died, that doesn't mean that the movie's good. It means you just avoid getting sued.
No. When it comes to Mission Impossible, when it actually comes to Tom Cruise, period, doing films, we go for literally heart-stopping action sequences.
I don't go for my heart to stop or skip a beat.
I want palpitations. I want sweats. I want to nearly feel like it is I that am on the verge of dying when I see Mission Impossible.
I don't want a defibrillator in the theater just for me.
Look, wake me up with the sound of clear so I can get right back into the film.
Can't take this guy anywhere. I don't need a movie to do that, okay? How's that funny? How is that funny, Steph? What is going on here?
Foosh laughs in the face of death like I do.
That was good. No, now they're just random. They're meaningless.
No.
You've
Foosh
sucked
laughs
the value
in the face
right out of
death. I'm telling you, May 23rd, this when it comes out.
Kind of like the presidency. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
I am getting us tickets to see it in the biggest, loudest theater late at night, so we're all sleep deprived after working all night. So we too can be near the brink of death when we see whatever it was that this young lady saw that almost took her life.
Look, there's a reason I don't watch the contemporary genre of horror, because all the bumps and jumps and everything, that is not enjoyable to me. And to think about the actual possibility of someone having heart attack symptoms. Now, from the studio side, if someone dies because of the movie, they're going to get sued into oblivion. That's just because. Look, it's negligence, manslaughter, whatever. Okay.
No, the movie will obviously have some type of warning at the beginning saying this film could bring you to the brink of death if you have a weak heart.
Oh, that's a selling point.
If you have a weak heart or you have the constitution of a baby, exit the theater to your left. But if you are hardcore and all about it, then sit your behind down and get ready to ride.
Okay, here's the serious question. I'm not 21 anymore. Would I do it when I was 21? Absolutely. If I actually felt, because I remember getting on roller coasters, and the reason I mention that, because I don't know if they still have the signs, but you used to have the sign like, do not get on this ride if you should be pregnant.
Yes.
Or you have heart issues, or you're a eunuch, or you have bad acne. You know that sign. Just any type of random malady. Just don't get on the ride.
Eunuchs? Why that?
I'm just saying it had this long list of stuff. If you have any of these issues, like priapism or,
Yes. If you think if you're afraid your colostomy bag will spill on the other riders.
Thank you. I got one finally. I got one.
That wasn't for you.
Tango Uno.
That was for me.
That was for him.
Shh. My point is, if you put that out in front of a movie, maybe a select portion of the population will want to see it. But by and large, you're going to lose a lot of your target market.
Well, that's what they used to do as a gimmick in the old William Castle movies in the 60s, like take out life insurance policies for anybody who drops dead of fright during the movie. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that is a selling point for a movie these days.
I think it is. I think nowadays, look, Mo, are you serious? We're talking about a population that did ice bucket, cinnamon, Tide Pod challenges, literally taking their life in their own hands. You think that something like a little sign talking about you may die is going to stop them?
No, I don't think the sign is going to stop them. I'm saying I don't know if that makes the movie more of a draw.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, it does, because look at all the people who not long ago tuned in online and watched the video of that car chase that ended in the police shooting a guy and the news cameras forgot to turn away, or they turned away too late.
Which one? I've seen a couple of them.
It was the race. It was the one all through LA, and they caught up with the guy and they shot him up, and the news cameras didn't turn away, and literally social media was blowing up. Go and watch this video right now because the news cameras forgot to turn away and they shot the guy on camera.
I was just going to bring up the last one that I remember that had this type of marketing was Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like that. Yeah.
But lots of people showed up in the theater for the opportunity to potentially die.
He's not wrong.
Well, the thing is that these are extreme stunt movies, and I think for your money, the agency show that we're watching right now has much more unbearable tension in it.
Tension, yes, but I'm not worried about, blacking out and having some sort of heart-related trauma.
And hoping that the seat's scotch guarded when you're watching the agency.
Yeah, I've never worried about losing my bowels or anything like that.
Well, you haven't seen the movie yet.
Look, you're talking to someone who has literally had his heart restarted for less.
Okay, you win. You have actually been under a defibrillator. Okay, yes.
So if he's going to play that card,
come on. Yeah. It takes all the fun out of it. It's like, look, I've actually been on a table staring at death. Okay, you win. Jeez. Got to pull out the defibrillator card. Yes, you almost died. How many times are you going to tell us? Tell us about the time they stuck that toothpick in your nose and touched the back of your throat.
No, it wasn't a toothpick. It was a foot-long, Q-tip laden wooden staff that they stuck in my nose all the way through to the back of my throat and told me to keep my head in a straight prone position. Otherwise, I could snap I guess it was thicker than a toothpick. It's like almost look at the tip of a big pin.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think you're making it up. Next, you'll tell us about when they went inside your groin and went all the way up to your heart to look at your something.
They did, though. They did, and that was with a camera. They went into the groin and they went all the way up into my heart to look around.
Well, let's see that footage.
I wish I had it. I wish I
how
had.
Convenient.
I wish I had the catheter footage. The catheter footage was the absolute best. They go into the hole with the camera and the hook to find the catheter and pull it right back out.
Wow, that'd be a real thrill-packed fun ride for us all to watch.
I'm getting ready to turn off this TV show. That much I damn sure know.
Look at the time.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
Perfect for achy, indecisive minds. KFI's cooling Info Gel quickly relieves ignorance and leaves a minty fresh scent.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live every